Joanna with your July topic and teaching video. And it's so fun to do these for you because I get to listen into what's unfolding with all of my clients and what's unfolding through meditation and my own journey. And that's what I picked the topics from. And so this month we are looking at a topic called self-abandonment. And it's something that I've been teaching and talking about for years. And yet a few months ago, I ran across an article, thank you to one of my past 90-day program graduates, an article by a therapist who says she's been working with couples for, I think it was over 43 years. And one of the things that she wrote this article, and it was all about the number one thing you can do to heal or change your relationship. So what I've also discovered is this doesn't matter whether we're in a relationship or we're looking for one. This has a huge impact on how we show up. And she says it's the number one challenge in relationship. It's the number one cause of challenge, and it's self-abandonment. So what's the opposite of self-abandonment, or what does that mean? Well, the opposite of self-abandonment is self-honor or self-love. And it's not, when I thought about the word self-love for the first time, and this was years and years ago, over a decade ago, I'm like, it's airy-fairy, what is that? I don't know what okay, whatever. Somebody said to me in college, you can't love another until you love yourself. And I was like, what does that really mean? And even when it started to be taught to me, like, I don't get it. And I can tell you back at that point that I knew the opposite really well. I knew self-hatred. I knew self-loathing really well. It was how I spent my days. And so now, after more than a decade of journeying with this topic, what comes up to me now whenever I think about how do I define this thing called self-love, it's funny. It's actually the traditional wedding vows, although I looked them up today when I was kind of thinking through what I wanted to say to you guys. And so it's not officially the traditional wedding vows. Those obviously vary with some of the spiritual and religious denominations. But the things that always were specific to me was to respect, honor, and cherish till death do us part. Wow, what would it be like if I had that relationship with me? And so then I looked up some of the other wedding vows, and they all applied when I started looking at what was officially out there. It was like, wow, so we're talking about for better or worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. So this idea that I'm going to be with me, to forsake all others, and to be faithful. Yeah, faithful to you. I have to be faithful to me. Your beloved or your future beloved has to be faithful to themselves first. For most of you, I've probably shared, and if I haven't, feel free to ask me, the 8 secrets to passionate love. The number one secret: put yourself first. This is self-love. If we don't have this, we don't have a foundation for a relationship. Because without this, who am I bringing to a relationship? And then I try to bring me, but I'm not honoring me, and now I resent you. You're pissing me off. You're not doing it the way I need you to do it. And I've given myself up, and I've spent so much time trying to make you happy, and now I'm tired. And why don't you do it for me? And we have all these stories that come up. And then when we don't take care of ourselves, it puts pressure on our partners. And then our partners are less inspired to be with us. So going back, I want to grab a copy of this article. I put my thumb in front of the camera while I was doing it. But I wanted to grab a copy of this. Her name is Margaret Paul. And so I will actually include a link to this article out of the Elephant Journal in your first exercise email. Well, actually down below, because you'll have a link to this video there as well. And in it, she talks about the 6 different forms of self-abandonment. And so our exercises this month will all focus on these areas of self-abandonment so that we can focus on the loving, the honoring, the cherishing of you so that somebody else can do that too. But you have to start. Nobody's going to take care of you and honor you and love you in a way that you don't do for yourself. And men and women alike, this applies to you. I've seen it work and not work for both genders. So the 6 causes or the 6 ways that she talks about us self-abandoning, and it's a phenomenal article, I really agree, is emotionally. We don't honor, we don't respect, we try to push away, we try to deny our emotions. There's a way that in the denial and in the hiding, we're killing ourselves, we're killing our spirit because we put ourselves away and we try to put it in a box. So there's the emotional abandonment, and then there's the spiritual abandonment. How many times we've abandoned our essence or our spiritual journey or our spiritual practices for a relationship or for the kids or to spend time together. And we can't abandon any of these parts of ourselves. She goes on to talk about financial and organizational and physical abandonment, how we're not taking care of ourselves, how we're not taking care of our environment. And these are the ones that put enormous pressure on our partner. They all lead to resentment. Any of these forms of abandonment lead to resentment. These in particular, the financial, the organizational, the physical, can cause real challenge in our relationships if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't take care of the things of value. And then there is a relational abandonment, a way that we abandon the relationship that's so important to us. And so every one of these we want to look at, every one of these we want to get you back to loving, honoring, cherishing you on every level in every way. And how do you do that? One step at a time. My business coach, she likes to talk about 1 3-foot toss. It's just a 3-foot ring toss. That's it. That's the next step. You don't have to worry about the ones that are longer than 3 foot. You can hold the vision. But let's take this step by step and get you reconnected with you and do some forgiving of you if that's what's needed. Do some forgiving of spouses that we've blamed or past boyfriends, girlfriends that didn't work out, and we're still holding that grudge. Because that, as much as the lack of self-love, those past holds also hold us back. But the essence is coming back to, how do you put yourself first? And I know that seems counterintuitive to relationship, and it's not. It's the foundation of solid relating, because you are in the relationship. If you're trying to be the right thing, do the right thing. If you're trying to get it right, if you're trying to be perfect, if you're trying not to make mistakes, if you're trying to make her happy, if you're trying not to upset him, you'll never be you. And so this is actually, people talk about wanting freedom. Being you, I love the book, and I think I might have mentioned this in the last month's video. If I didn't, I know I thought about it. Free to be you and me. And so, again, we're back to being you, and this is what creates the solid foundation for a relationship. So take a look at the first exercise. Take a look at the link to the article. It's a phenomenal article. I've shared it with all the coaches that I'm training because it's so powerful and appropriate for the work with singles, with couples. And I look forward to our sessions this month. Huge blessings. Bye-bye.